I wanna be the best there ever was, to hunt all the rest, yeah, that's my cause!
Losarios, Gendrome, Cephadrome, Boldrome, Velocidrome, Iodrome, Yunkaku, Gravios, Shengaran, Chameleos, Teostro, Lunastra, Gypsaros, Kezu, Fatalis, Elatrion!
Hunt 'em, gotta hunt 'em all! Monster Hunter!
Hello, my fellow hunters! There are a lot of monsters.
You sound insane. Do you realize that?
Over 200 of them have graced our, weapons with their lifeblood across 5 fantastic generations. And, this week I did my little talk on why the 4th gen is just so goddamn good. I was like, you know what, let's have a little look through all of our glorious generations of monsters, and I'm gonna see if I can choose the best of each one, or at least the one that really stands out, one that has qualities that let it shine above the others. And I can tell you now that Brachydios is not my choice for 3rd, as much as that pains my heart. I'm sorry, Brachy. I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't expect you to laugh at my pain there. Unless that's a Brachydios issue. Maybe he's just like that. Brachy, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've lost everything you've ever cared about. Huh, well, fair enough. Moving on then, let's get this show on the proverbial road, because let's be honest, most of us are stationary inside and planning to stay that way. The first generation was honestly the hardest to choose from. There's of course Rathalos himself, the monster flagship of the series. There's of course Fatalis, the one who stands above all monsters, the giant in Lao Shenglong, the Kezu! This is one of the creepier monsters. Just laugh at it! You can't just laugh at it! But I think I have to give my nod, and this might seem... it's Bullfango. Okay. My one for the first generation that I think probably stands out the most, at least to me, is actually going to be Kirin. Yes, our lovely lightning horse friend who more often than not makes us cry than he does yay, but in a world of, monsters of 2 legs, 2 wings, and a very similar frame across really everything that was in the first generation, it was just starting out. There was diversity, of course, but nothing so much as a almost mythical lightning unicorn. Like, it really had something that just everything didn't. It felt like a nature spirit almost, something not quite real. I mean, it is known as the Phantom Beast, a monster that steps so lightly to not even bend a blade of grass because it cares that much about nature all around it. But of course, will then stop at nothing to fry you to ashes should you try and disrupt, that nature. They're incredibly rare and honestly quite beautiful creatures when they're not trying to impale you. And I think there's just something majestic that captures you about the Kirin that's harder to immediately get from the more typical fiery breathing wyvern-y type thing. And I'll be honest, I really didn't want to give this to Yankoku, but no, I'm gonna give it to Kirin. The 2nd generation then, in a world of Rajangs, in a world of Yamasukamis, in a world of Tigrex, Nagakuga, and a Gantor. What could it be? Well, this one, I have to go with Chameleos. And the reason I have to go with Chameleos is he is still to this day the most personality-filled Elder Dragon of them all. And that's in a world with, where everything has so much more going for it when it comes to, that very thing. He just oozes this oddness, this quirkiness. And look, I'll be honest, I'm biased. I love my lizards, and he is one of my favorite monsters, top 5. But I adored the potion nabbing with a whippy, sticky tongue. I love his poison cloud wild shenanigans. I just love the way he be. You're presented as elder dragons as these unstoppable forces of destruction, and they pretty much have been up until this point, and you get to Chameleus that just looks like a particularly twitchy lizard, and it has this vibrant purpley pinks, and unlike anything else that you've seen, well, maybe except Congalala, and it just kind of strikes you as so very bizarre, unlike all of its brethren. He just... And of course we have to give a shout out to the very first monster to go invisible. The third generation then, the brute wyverns and the leviathans joining the fray, along with many beasties. This is difficult. Obviously, Brachydios is my favourite monster, and this is where he came in. Lagiacrus, another amazing monster, the king of the leviathans. But I have to give this one to Amatsu. And the reason I have to do this is because I think Amatsu represents a almost sacred pinnacle. Because that's where you fight it. But no, a pinnacle of a lot of monster design elements coming together. It's a threat you fight on land, but it moves through the air like a leviathan does in water. Really capitalizing on, well, the leviathans of the generation. It's an elder dragon, so it commands silly powers of storm and wind and thunder and destruction, but it's also got the wateriness, again the theme of water from the generation. It has this beauty about it, this elegance, this serene grace that very few monsters capture that well, while still maintaining this overwhelming deadly threat. It has this scariness to match its beauty. It has just an impeccable encounter design, and it just works on so many levels. We're talking at least 7. I just think it's unlike anything else. There's no way I can say, oh yeah, fighting Amatsu's like fighting. There just really isn't an answer to that question. There isn't a monster you can insert there. There isn't a like for like, whereas with Brachy, yeah, he's got slimy explodings, but there is very much brute wyvern traits to him that other monsters in his class exhibit. Whereas Amatsu is just pure Amatsu, and there's just something about it that captured me when I had a look at them all to decide this. So yeah, Amatsu, there you go. Over to the 4th generation, and well, see entire video I just made singing its entire praises, going monster by monster, but it's hard to choose anything here but the Megalas. Go on, Megala, if I had to be specific, simply because, again, and I feel like this is a theme of my choices, and perhaps not coincidentally, he is unlike anything that has come before him. He is wholly unique unto himself, and even if it wasn't for the Frenzy, he would still be a very strong contender here, but the Frenzy virus really tips the Black Eclipse wyvern over the edge. He has a fascinating life cycle, scattering these scales that drive monsters insane before they eventually pass out and die from the infection, only to then be devoured from the Gormagala, hiding at a safe distance as it slowly gathers the strength to molt into Shagaru Megala, a golden god of destruction, to re-frenzy across the land, spreading monster to monster, an actual apocalypse that is being set up by this. That and his game actually saw him as the focal point of the story. The effects of the frenzy is one of the most memorable, well, the only memorable narrative of Monster Hunter before World and Iceborne comes along, and certainly stands up to them. He looks badass, let's be honest, edgy maybe, sure, but he is just phenomenally designed. The darkness mode with the feelers and the hints of purple is just breathtaking, and you don't forget that. And there's just everything going for him. The extra 2 arms that come out when he is super very angry as well are just raw intimidation, and he just has this presence that is not felt, well, by anyone else except Shagaru Magala in his adult form. And this mysterious wyvern causing such destruction that it echoed through so much. He needs to come back. He really does. He deserves a bit of a frenzy story. I keep saying it, and I will saying it. I really would love to see it. But Gore Magala, for me, has to champion the 4th generation. He has to spearhead it. He just did so much by himself, so much more than just his encounter or design, that it's really not been replicated by any monster since or before. So, that takes us then to current gen, 5th gen, World and Iceborne monsters. This was unbelievably difficult. There is so many exemplary monster designs because, well, it's the culmination of so many years of experience doing them and, well, a whole new engine to bring them to life even further. From hair to claw to tooth to scale, from every attack and every angle, every detail, every bit of vibrant colour and delicate patterning, it all just is gorgeous! So choosing one to stand atop them all is bloody difficult. You have things like Basil, which I believe to be one of the best designed monsters, just full stop. Best designed enemies in a game, full stop. As soon as you look at him, upgraded into Ceiling 2, but as soon as you look at him, you get him. You know what he does, and he looks like he should do what he does. The fight is intense, but it's simple and straightforward. He's slow, but threatening. He makes things blow up, try not to get blown up. He is beautifully elegant in his, hi guys, design, and it just works so well, and I will always sing his praises as much as I can, especially now that I dearly miss him invading everywhere. You don't know what you have until it's gone, you know? I miss you, Basil! Now, Gigante, very much the same reason. Simple, perhaps, but brutal and efficient in the design. You get him instantly. The fight makes sense instantly. It works instantly in your mind, and you get this ballet of death you are now engaged in. There's no complication, there's no nuance, there's just don't get hit by big physical brawl, and then do big hitting back. And it's just really elegant, and I adore it. But the main contenders, of course, you have to look at stuff, you have to look, you know what you're... Sorry about that, I have huge problems. So, I was gonna say Safi Jiva, because, you know, recency bias and Sapphire of the Emperor! But honestly, looking at everything else in the fight, not really. Zeno, I think, is more interesting than Safi. Shara Ishvalda is definitely one. The vibration, the sand, the rock, how he looks so alien. I mean, I think perhaps it should be him, but for me, I have to choose Namiel. I am a sucker for deep sea creatures and their alien design. I am a sucker for bright colours and even brighter ideas in a monster, and controlling the battlefield with beautiful puddles of water that can be swished along and send you skidding in a, well, never before seen mechanic, let's be honest here, as well as that final attack that just leaves Rain just dancing down towards the ground. I mean, being carted by Namiel feels like... And that's something that I really adore. Normally I think water's probably the weakest, the least interesting element, but In Namielle's case, it works. The combination with the thunder too, of course the tentacles. From top to bottom, she is just an incredible design. A combination of a load of real-life animals too, taking huge inspiration from our own glowing jellyfish, vampire squid. There's just a lot going on there, and it just oozes the almost believable detail that Capcom loves to cram into their monsters. And it helps, it's got a bit of a Chameleos waddle as well, so that's going good. But for me, it has to be Namielle. It's just so incredibly balanced between breathtakingly gorgeous and also horrifying when you start to get to those little needle teeth. And I just love it. I absolutely love it. So Namielle for me takes the current, we don't know what's still coming, 5th gen crown. How about you guys? Have a look. It's so hard to choose, and I totally accept if you have different choices. I'd love to hear about them. But for now, I will see you all very soon. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. A good boy.
Some of the names are quite formidable because some of them have a lot of syllables.
Shogun Sinatra, Dami, Hermitar, Lushan, Long Yamasu, Kami, Shigeru, Magali, Great Juros, Crucial Diori, Great Jaggy, Great Jagras, Ketchawaja, Rolandroth, Great Baggy, Dobigadashi, Gerardus, Gribical, Gun,
Hunt 'em, gotta hunt 'em all, gotta hunt 'em all, Monster Hunter!
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.